Welcome to the Writer Groupie podcast. I'm Kim Smith, the writing guru, bringing you discussions, insights, and insider details on planning, producing, promoting, and profiting as a writer. This is a podcast by writers for writers. You can find out more about Writer Groupie at www.kimsmithauthor.com. And here's the next episode of Writer Groupie. Welcome to Writer Groupie, Jodi Vaughn, the author of a new box set of holiday short stories that is coming out probably... Is it
now?
Out? It's out now.
It's out now.
Awesome.
Yes.
Awesome. Tell us about it.
My holiday box set. Let me get my picture. Yay! It's 2 short stories, and it's called Candy Corn Kisses and Candy Canes and Tractor Chains. One is Halloween, one is Christmas, and they are, of course, they're romance. One's a little paranormal romance, and one's contemporary. That's what I write. And I kind of wanted to give the reader a little hint of a small town that I've created in Tennessee. It's a fictional town of Cloverton, Tennessee, and I will be doing a series starting January. So you will see these characters in these short stories throughout the year. You'll see they'll have their own full-length novel.
That's awesome. And Jodi's a paranormal romance author. If anybody's interested, I'm looking at your website. It says Southern Paranormal Romance Author. And I'm like,
yes.
So many people have trouble branding themselves. You've got yours down to a fine art. How'd you come up with that?
How did I come? By accident. I was actually pitching to an agent in, where were we at? Atlanta, maybe? This has been a couple of years ago. And she asked what I wrote, and I also write contemporary romance, not just paranormal. And I told her, and I was, telling her that all of my stories are set in the South. And she says, well, that's what you need to start telling people. She says, there's a void since the Sookie Stackhouse books have ended. That was Southern Paranormal. You need to start saying you're Southern Paranormal. So I did that. I've got a great friend who actually is a graphic designer. So if you look on my website, on my Facebook page, all the headers, she does that for me.
They're really nice. I'm looking at them.
Thank you. She actually came up with my tagline, "It's always hotter in the South," because it is. It is.
I am your neighbor. I can attest to this fact.
Yes, it is. It's always hotter in the South.
That's awesome. So how did you get started writing paranormal romances? Because I think more people get started writing the contemporary than the paranormal, don't they?
Yes. Actually, I was going to keep with paranormal, and actually I wrote the Candy Canes and Tractor Chains. It was just a short story, and my critique partner said, "Oh my God, you need to also write contemporary. That is the sweetest story I've read. I've read." And so, anyway, I like paranormal because I like to make my own rules, and I also like for my hero and heroine to have these powers that they can do anything. I don't know. I think it's we live in a world where so much bad stuff happens all the time. You want the good guy to win at all costs, and so I don't know. I just like paranormal. I think I've always kind of lived in my head. I'll be sitting there looking out the windows. We're driving, and my husband's like, "What are you thinking about?" And I'm plotting a story in my head, and he thinks I'm just ignoring him, but I'm not. I'm actually...
People who don't write don't get this, that we are writing all the time. It doesn't matter whether we're sitting at dinner looking at our plate, or whether we're, on a drive looking out the window, or, whether we're sitting in front of a computer. We are always writing stories in our head. Always.
Yes, exactly.
And it's really funny because everything in the world sets you off. I mean, you could be sitting at Panera Bread and see a lady come in with some really cool stilettos on, and instantly a story comes to mind.
Exactly. And my husband's all the time. I said something the other day about, it was just a random thing. And he's like, what is wrong with you? Why would you even say that? I thought it was a cool idea. So, yeah, writers are different. I like being a writer.
I do too, and it's funny because I guess I've always been a writer at heart, but officially since the early 2000s, but it's like once bitten, forever stuck. I mean, you can't get away from the poison that you inject yourself with once you start writing. And so you people out there who are looking at this video or listening to this audio, you got to know that if you're aspiring to write, don't let anybody take your dream away. Just do it. Even if nobody ever sees it, it'll be important to you at some point. Mm-hmm. So you were telling me off site, off video, off audio, off whatever, before we got started. You were telling me that you had self-published, and I want to know all about that adventure, and I'm sure all of the Writer Groupie fans do too. Okay.
Well, my first book was actually traditionally published. It's in paperback and and that was with Small Press in Georgia. So I don't know. The bug kind of bit me. Maybe it's because I'm a little bit impatient. Like for years and years and years for a book to come out. And when I was at RT, which is Romantic Times, in New Orleans this year, I talked to Lillian Hart. I talked to Jacinda Wilder. I sat down and had coffee with Dorian Kelly, who writes with Janet Vonovich. And they all are self-published now. And so, I am so not tech savvy at all. What I like to do, I sit down and I write my story, and that's what I like. As far as putting stuff up, formatting, that is not me, and it may not ever be me. And so I was asking them questions. I'm like, well, I can't format, and I don't know how to do that. And they were like, you pay somebody to do that. You don't have to do that. What you have to do is sit down and write the story. But there's also online groups that will help you. They can walk you step by step. If you want to format your stuff, you can certainly do that. Indie authors are very just giving. They want to help other authors come up.
That's true.
So probably the most, and of course I did my cover through Kim Killian. I had talked with my critique partner. I said, well, it's short stories. Maybe I could do a book cover? And she was like, no, don't do your own book cover. Come on. And so I was like, all right. So I did, and I'm glad I did because it's the cutest thing I've ever seen.
Hold your card back up again.
Yes, it's. I told her I wanted something in the kind of like H.P. Mallory. You know how she has her little cartoony.
If you guys can't see this very well, go on her website at jodivaughn.com and look at this box set. It's really, really cute, and I want to remember her name because I'm probably going to contact her. The next series that I'm going to be starting has got a real fun, zany twist to it that it's going to kind of call for a more of a cartoony kind of cover. Yeah. And so it looks like she does a good job. I might be calling her.
She's excellent. So anything that you are nervous about, or there's people out there that will help you.
That's true.
So if that's holding you back, please, that can't be your excuse.
Did you get a professional editor?
It is time consuming. Yeah. Oh, yes.
Tell us about that.
Okay, professional editors. Actually, my critique partner she's a copy editor, and she's my critique partner. So I used her as my developmental editor and my copy editor. I hired someone else to do a line edit and a proof, to be a proofreader. So you got to factor in that as well. I guess the most time-consuming part of it is setting up your accounts on Amazon and Nook and Kobo and all that, because it's step by step, and then they have to verify your information in your bank account because it's coming to your bank account. It's not through PayPal. So it's time-consuming, and it's okay if you get frustrated. My husband was sitting here with me, and I was getting like, And he was like, just step away. And I did, and I came back, and it's fine. So, yes. So that's, once you get set up, you're good.
So in order to be self-published, how valuable do you think it is to have a professional editor and to have a professional cover artist?
If you want to make money, you need a professional editor and you need a cover artist. You pay the money out, but you need to look at that as an investment. I see this as an investment. Later on down the years, when other books are selling, your readers are going to come back to everything that you've written. And you may sell, 100 copies this year, and then next year you have a series come out and they've read all that and they want something else. Next year you may sell 25,000, 50,000. You don't know, but it's an investment, and you would harm yourself and do yourself a disservice if you don't get a professional to help you in those areas.
Okay, so you wrote it, you had it edited, you got the cover for it, you put it out there. Now, how are you marketing this book? Or books, I should say.
How am I marketing this book? Twitter's okay. I'm not a fan of Twitter. I don't know. I think because I'm more visual. Facebook, I have a author page. You need an author page if you're an author. You also need a fan page, and I just started it this week. Kind of made me nervous because I guess because I'm such an introvert, unless I'm talking one-on-one to somebody, and it's kind of like, oh, well, you must think you're something because you've got a fan page. It's kind of, I don't know. So, but it's fine. You've got to put yourself out there. Take a step, take a leap. If you're not moving outside your comfort zone, you're not growing as a writer. And so I have had growing pains this past few months like you wouldn't believe. So, yes, Facebook is probably one of my biggest, how I get my name out there. Southern Writers Magazine had an article of my book, Veiled Secrets. It was in there. And once you get in a magazine like that, they'll contact you again. They've contacted me again wanting another, book there. Word of mouth. I think your readers, once you endear your readers, that's what's going to help you sell.
Well, okay, so give us your top 3 tips for new authors. What are the top 3 things you think new authors need to know in this wide open and incredibly wonderful indie publishing world now?
Okay. I think you need to read. Whatever you're writing, you need to read that genre. I also think you don't need to pigeonhole yourself into one genre, and that's why I'm glad I did contemporary. I started doing contemporary as well. I've been, because people will say, well, this genre's dead or this is not doing well. Well, you need to have something else, Don't put all your eggs in one basket. Get an editor, get a professional editor, and, guys, let me tell you, that's hard to find a good editor, and I have blown money on someone that people were using, and she edited mine, and it was $600 blown. She did nothing. And so when I finally got the editor that was, a real development, I was like, oh my God, that's what it's supposed to be. You keep her. So I've got my claws into this, the one that I like, not letting her go.
Will you share? I want some of this.
Okay, I'll share with you, Kim. I will. What else do you need? I think you need to keep learning. Take workshops, network with other authors. I think you can never stop learning. I think publishing is changing rapidly day by day.
I agree.
And you need to be, that's why I have, all these out on platform. It's not just on Amazon. It's on Barnes & Nobles and Kobo and ARE. And so, kind of just listen. If you get on these indie online groups, just listen to what everybody's saying. You can just absorb so much. And if you have a question, no question is stupid. If you have a question, I'm going to tell you something. I was going to get my my book formatted for Google. And so the girl that formats it says, well, what format do I need to put it in? Because there's different formats like Mobi and EPUB and whatever. So I asked my the girl that's in my box set, one of the authors, and I said, well, I need to format for Google. What is it? And she said, it's a PITA. And so I said, PETA? The heck is PETA? And so I went back to the formatter and I said, she said it's PETA. And so I started looking at it and I went back and I was like, oh, you meant that's a pain in the ass. She said, yeah. I was like, oh my God. So I went back to my formatter and I said, okay, you know what? My smart aleck friend, my art friend told me it was PETA. It's supposed to be EPUB. So she laughed it off. She said that was the funniest thing she'd ever heard. So there is no such thing as PETA in format, okay? Learn from me.
Yeah, everybody know this. PITA does not exist in the format world.
That's right.
It does, however, exist in the writing world.
It does. Yes. See, I teach. That's my teaching moment.
Jodi, it's been great having you tonight to speak on Writer Groupie. I'm just getting this podcast really going and getting some interviews with some great authors and some people in the industry that I think will help to, kind of enlighten, watchers. What do I call podcast listeners who watch the audio and the video? I don't even know what to call them. But anyway, we'll call them Writer Groupies because they're groupies. They're groupiettes. But I really enjoyed having you come on, and I hope that you'll come back. I mean, it looks to me like you're a busy lady.
Oh, I will. I love coming on here. I love this. So yes, and I'll probably send some more people your way.
Thank you for listening to this edition of Writer Groupie. For the booking information, show notes, and more, visit KimSmithAuthor.com.